At this point in Endless Hunger, Kraft has already been beaten up by a fairy and discovered a corporate spy. He's also repaying a favor to the Spirit of Winter, Jack of Frost, by finding out where the missing winter energy has gone, something that could mean dire things if it remains in places unknown. In order to find the coldest place in New Montreal, the most obvious indicator of where this absent energy would be, Kraft needs a thermal scan of the city. What better way for a cash-strapped detective to scan a city than to break into the tallest building in New Montreal with a homemade launcher and a one-time scanning device called a sensor bomb. This building, of course, being home to Tartarus Security, a security firm with its own personal army and an independent enforcement streak. The infiltration doesn't go well, and Kraft now finds himself on a roof with a door welded shut and few options remaining to him. Jack in his fucking favor. I whipped the super potato cannon off my shoulder and planted it on the tower's roof. Celine's mini torque gun secured the cannon's feet firmly and I flipped the lid open. The pounding at the door had stopped. In no way did I see that as a good sign. I took it as a cue to work faster. I held the sensor bomb with the cable in one hand and sprayed the cannon full of the aerosol inferno with my other. I only had one shot at it, so I wasn't stingy with the Firex. When I felt content, I dropped the sensor bomb inside and drove my foot down onto the stomp plate. Boom! It was a dull sound, followed by a much less dull 6-foot-high fireball that heated the entire roof for a second. The projectile disappeared into the clouds until my only indication of its position was the cable tracing into the sky. The cable started to tilt more and more as the wind pushed the sensor bomb off course. I could only hope I gave the sensor enough juice to catch the entire area in its scan. If it worked, I should get a good thermal readout of several hundred square kilometers. God, I hope this works. For a moment, everything was calm. New Montreal shone in the brilliant light of the early morning sun. It was all laid out before me. That terrible, wonderful city I called home. My gloves picked up the data sent down from the sensor. The electric winch of the cannon's base began retracting. I didn't have time to look over the info at this point. The unmistakable sound of a power saw cut through the air and would soon be cutting through the door. The sensor crashed back into the roof, pulled by the winding cable. I threw myself back just in time to avoid having my head taken off by its bounce. The bomb whipped around a few more times until it was pulled back into the tube. I unbolted the cannon's tripod and slung it back over my shoulder. The metal was warped and smelled of a smithy. Still, the job was done and it was time to retreat. I had to get off the roof and it wasn't going to be the way I came up. The power saw was already visible and making its way through the weld. I didn't have long. I could think of one way off the roof, but it was untested to say the least. Never fun to have anything's made in flight be under duress. There was not a more apt time to call it sink or swim. I reached back with both hands for my backpack and grabbed hold of another strap. I pulled it forward and clipped it to where the other harness was, making an X across my chest. The lower straps had hooks I clipped to my belt. All ready to go, unfortunately. Boom! The roof access door fell solidly to the ground. Tartarus security agents backed by white synthetics glared through, all armed with assault rifles and pissed off looks. The one with the saw tossed to the ground and started to bring his rifle up, intent on helping me with my Swiss cheese impression. They were all crammed into a small hallway and the guard had trouble moving. It would give me the time I needed. It all seemed to move in slow motion. The gravel crackled as I twisted my feet and drew my revolver, still working off-handed. With my good hand, I felt along the ammo on my belt until I touched the design I needed. Cylinder open, round into chamber, cylinder closed. The motor and sensor spun the round until it was primed to be fired. The guard looked ready to open hell, but I was quicker. The shot went wide, it struck the door frame. The bullet exploded into a thick smoke screen as the guard fired. Rat-a-tat! Debris kicked up as each round struck the rooftop. The trail of impact ran away from me as the guard became engulfed in the choking smog. I let a smirk appear, only to have it disappear just as quickly when 3 more rifles started up. The rooftop was dirty with flying dust and machine gun chatter. Before long, one of them was going to find their mark, so I took off. I slammed my gun back into its holster and barreled with all the speed I could muster. The south side of the building was not far, but it might as well have been across the city. The New Montreal skyline was still lit up beautifully for me. If I died, At least I would have a wonderful final image. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. Firing machine guns were my driving drum. I took a deep breath, pushed one foot against the lip of the tower, and hurled myself into the void.